How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. So, I sold all my stock, and in this video, I'm going to talk about why I did that. Right now, I'm at about 22% stock, and I am getting very, very close to just liquidating all of it. I might be doing this on Monday or Tuesday or the coming week. But as you guys know, I was roughly at 78% stock, and I dramatically sold a lot of it right around Friday or so, and now I'm down to about 22%. If it inches up a little bit more on Monday or Tuesday, I definitely will be liquidating all of it. Now, why did I do that? In my previous videos, there are certain instances where I am more and more certain about a certain situation that I would actually go out on a limb and make a video about it saying I sold certain thing. For example, I sold Tesla stock, I sold Bitcoin, right? Those happen to be really lucky calls. And somehow I think I'm a genius investor just because I sold near the top and profited a lot from it. But this is another instance where I feel like the risk versus reward is just not worth it. And that is when I decide to sell everything. Let me impress upon you guys the severity of this situation. 22% unemployment rate. This is an extremely high unemployment rate. If you look at every single person in the United States, only 1 out of 2 people is working right now. And when you have people not working, people cannot pay for rent, people cannot even pay for groceries. And when this happens, people are not doing discretionary spending, they are not going out buying handbags, they are not vacationing, they are not going to hotels. With all this lockdown, this is a serious, serious issue. So why is the stock market so high right now? It's because of the Fed monetary policies of all the easy money going on. So the fact that it's so high right now is because of some market manipulation by the government. The manipulation here is going to go on for some time, and we don't know how much more because they promise, oh, we're going to do unlimited amount of quantitative easing. So the bet for selling is really saying that I think the market forces is eventually going to realize, oh my gosh, things are really, really bad, and it's just going to, it might overwhelm all the easy money going on out there. The risk dramatically increases and then people are gonna sell. So this is what I'm thinking might happen. I am not completely sure. Like every single time I make these videos of these prediction videos, I am not sure. But I am sure enough that I would actually sell my own stock. Here is the way I see it. You might have 10% gain, right? If you have another 10% gain, we're total about down 20% from the peak right now on the S&P. So at most, right, it's reasonable that you might think that it might come up another 10%. It's completely unreasonable to think that it's going to go up to right where the peak was, in other words, go up another 20%, because that would mean that this infection is not going on at all. People are still, they went back to work and stuff, so completely unreasonable to go up 20%. So let's just say it's going to go up 10 more percent, which is somewhat unreasonable already. But there's a huge case that, to me at least, because I have in my mind this amount of probability that certain things going to happen. Let's say 50% of the time, because I'm kind of unsure, it might come up 10%. But there's also 50% of the time that I think it might go down 30%, 50%. And because the risk versus reward here is kind of uneven, unbalanced, I don't want to risk a lot of money to gain a little bit of money, because I want to risk some amount and have a high probability of success. I want to put money in where I think I'm going to gain like 40% versus lose 10%, right? The other way around. Right now, the stock market to me is you're going to see to lose more than you would gain in the next few months. So that's why I felt like it's time to sell most of it at least. And because I am unsure, that's why I'm at 22% or so, because I realize as an investor myself, I might be wrong. So that's why I go in steps. I sold half of certain things. I liquidated most of other things, including IRM, BAC, and AT&T. Although those were actually in my brokerage account, and I'm gonna have to pay short-term capital gains on those. But usually for short-term, long-term capital gain stuff, I try to not focus too much on how much taxes I'm going to pay. I need to focus more on if it's going to increase or decrease right now. Because if you put too much pressure on yourself to try to hold something long term, like 12 months or something, just so that you can pay less taxes for long-term capital gains, I think that is a huge mistake. For me, what I've learned to do myself is to, look at the taxes last. I need to trade for profit now. So the taxes is a concern, but that is something I'm gonna look at sort of like an afterthought type of thing. Since I invested in steps lower and lower, I pretty much broke even. I would say I'm down a few percent or so, up a few percent here and up down a few percent there. So in terms of the total portfolio value, I'm somewhere back around February. So it's not a big deal for me to sell right now. It's kind of like I can say, I'm selling right now, turn the clock back to February and hold my portfolio value there. Let all this craziness happen. So why the change of thought here? Because I initially thought the policies, the government policies, the way that the United States is going to open up is going to be a little different than how it transpired. What I thought would have happened is that the stock market might trickle up slowly, maybe at the fastest within 6 months or so, but it came up way too fast. When it comes up way too fast is usually why I sell. The same thing happened with Bitcoin, it came up way too fast. The same thing happened with Tesla, it came up way too fast. So I feel like the equity value right now is kind of rich for S&P 500. In addition to this, it seems like the government or policies or whatever, they want to reopen the economy, but they did not put in the proper measures to keep people from getting sick. So because of this, it is premature to reopen. If people are going to get sick again, I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to try to reopen. Our rate of infection as a whole country, it's going to go up and up. And they're going to see that, oh my gosh, more and more people are dying. So now we're going to close it up again. When this happens, it's just prolonging the amount of time at which the economy cannot move at all. When you prolong this, there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. People are out of jobs, 22% unemployment rate. People cannot pay their rent. People cannot pay their mortgages. Discretionary spending is going to go way down. People are not going to buy a bunch of gadgets and whatnot if they don't have a job. People are having a hard time even buying food. Of course, in my mind, whenever I take in all this news, I assign a certain probability of something happening before I act. What I notice myself doing is I usually act a little bit before things happen, probably a week or two. So even though I'm making this video, I am not 100% sure, by the way, and I can't be your investment advisor. I can't say, buy or sell your stock. This is just what I'm personally doing. And what I have noticed me doing is I sell and I'm like, I'm just complaining to everybody. How come the stock market's acting so crazy right now? Just like over in February, middle of February, I'm like, why is the stock market so crazy? How come there's no sell-off right now? And yeah, eventually that happened. So will this happen? I don't know. After I release this video, maybe it might take a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Maybe it might never happen before the stock market goes down. But let's say if it goes up by 10%, which whatever, right? If it keeps on going up another 10%, it's just crazy to me. It's already crazy to me that it like rebounded so much, and I caught my money back when it's so high, and then now I'm just basically break even. The other day when I went to the supermarket, it's sort of like me taking a temperature of the outside. This is also important because it lets me see how people are behaving when you go out to the supermarket. When I go out, okay, they put these markers on the floor. Yes, they have these little glass panels right in front of all the cashiers. But when I go into the supermarket, the aisles are, yay wide. And if you want to pass by someone, you are coming within 6 feet of someone. They really need to make all those aisles one way only because there's no good way to pass someone without coming really close. And I remember when I was standing in the corner minding my own business, there happens to be some dirty baskets behind me, and someone wanted to reach to get them. And because they were right behind me, they came up pretty close, like 1 or 2 feet within myself. This is not a complaint, by the way. I just feel like people are not used to social distancing. People are not used to Like, oh, someone is over there, I'm gonna stay away from them. Because I personally found myself coming too close to someone. Like I had to like, oh, just kidding, I remember now. Because if you want to get by someone, you think you can just kind of sneak by even if you get like within 3 or 4 feet. So I think social distancing is not a well-practiced thing, and people are not used to this just yet. Guys say 95% of people are wearing masks right now, but I think in other parts of the country, in the United States, not enough people are wearing masks. You got a whole bunch of people that's refusing to wear a mask, and I think United States as a country, it's kind of like based around personal freedom, right? So you can do whatever you want. And because of this, people are going to refuse putting on masks. People are going to refuse certain scientific studies and saying that you should do so and so. So because of this, I feel like the infection rate is not going to go down as rapidly as it went up. Right now, it looks like it's gonna take like 6 months, the slow way that it's trickling down. Initially, I said I'm gonna hold for 2 years, and now all of a sudden I sell. This is not a long-term trader, right? Because I said I was gonna hold for 1 or 2 years. All of a sudden, I'm selling. This is because of the way things are right now. I look at things and I don't see that these are the way I would have opened the country up myself if I were in charge, right? The way they're opening right now, we are almost guaranteed a second, third, fourth wave even. And because of this, the economy downturn is gonna get drawn out a lot longer than other countries. It seems like it's a very uncoordinated way of opening up the country, where the policies is not where I would personally want them to be, to ensure people are not getting more and more sick so that we don't get the second, third wave. And when you have a high chance of second or third wave, this means that we're going to prolong this economy downturn. And when this happens, people are already suffering with just 1 month, even though we're getting the stimulus money and everything. If it prolongs for a couple more months, I feel like the market pressures will really overrun whatever policy, whatever quantitative easing, easy money that we have. And that is when people will see the earnings is really terrible. We have meat shortages. We have people at the meat processing plants getting sick. We have people in the government getting sick as well. So it's just getting everywhere. People are hoping for the better. People want things to get better. I personally want things to get better too, but I don't think it's gonna go there. That is why I sold. Vaccine is not gonna come very quickly. It's gonna take 9 more months or so, probably New Year's time. And what I learned from the phases they have to do in the drug trials, for the vaccine drug trials, is they don't know if this is gonna kill a lot of people. So what they do is they introduce it to a handful of people, and then the next phase, they introduce it to an order of magnitude more people, and then if that goes out just fine, then the phase 3 is, I think, thousands of people, so second order of magnitude higher. And then I guess after that, then they might decide based on the data if they're gonna release it to the masses of millions of people. So you really do need these different phases just so that you can catch problems with the vaccine if it's gonna kill people instead of helping them. So I think that's why those vaccines take so long, even though they have the vaccine ready already. It's mainly the trials in humans that takes the most time. Therapeutics, it doesn't really help all that much. It helps a little bit. Instead of 20 people dying, you have 15 people dying. So it's like an improvement of 25%. So instead of, let's say they administer this to every single person that has severe symptoms, instead of 100,000 people dying, you have 75,000 people dying. So this is not like a magic bullet that would cure everything. So even if we have these therapeutics, it's not thing compared to having a vaccine. So having that will, it helps, but then it's not going to, allow people to continue life as usual and just go, oh, if I get it, I'll just take whatever medicine and then I'm gonna be cured. No, that's not the case. It's just gonna help you a little bit. This is why I'm selling myself. This is not a recommendation to sell your shares of stock. This is just how I feel about things. Risk versus reward is very uneven, even with the mucking of the government monetary policies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and take this with a grain of salt. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below, let me know if you're 100% cash, because I'm pretty much getting there very, very quickly. I might be doing on Monday or Tuesday or the following week. If you guys want to stay up to date, I try to announce this on my Patreon now. If you guys are interested in supporting this channel, check out my Webull referral link down in the video description below. This is a free trading app, and I personally use it to check out the after-hour trading prices. And as always, don't forget to push that subscribe button and ring that bell icon. Thanks for watching.